Hey guys, Jason Digos here with Tony Demore, and we're here to show you our latest demo vehicle. It's not really a demo vehicle. We're going to get into it. It's a 2023 Tesla Model X. It actually belongs to Tony, so it's a little bit more special than just your normal demo vehicle. So let's go. You guys don't know, I mean, Tony is the the wizard behind all the really cool amp technology. Him and his partner Juan Rodriguez, and Tony, man, this car it's awesome, man. It's like
Thanks.
what, over 1,000 horsepower?
Yeah, 1,020 horsepower,
Yeah.
all-wheel drive. It's quite a blast to drive.
Yeah. So I mean, when we first started talking about doing the audio system, what was kind of the goal? Knowing that what we had to do, and what was kind of the goal that we needed to achieve here.
I think one of the reasons for getting this car, besides it being what it is that I needed a platform to develop these current averaging amplifiers on. So this is a 400 volt car with a 16 volt accessory system that doesn't have a lot of power to give. So I just wanted to have a system in here that, the stock system sounds pretty good, but it's just not loud enough and not enough bass. So basically I just wanted to have more of everything and a lot more bass and to be able to work on the stock electrical.
Yeah, so that's kind of a common thing. I mean, when we upgrade audio systems, and we do this for a living, so we understand it. But I mean, the normal consumer is like, hey, I really like the audio system, and this one isn't that bad. But yeah, it just lacks that output, lacks power and low frequency. So it's a really good platform to start with. So guys, this is not your normal demo car, right? You heard Tony mention that we wanted something that we could really test equipment and have a good platform. So really, it's more of an engineering test car. So we use it as a demo car, but when we show you the install, you'll see some really interesting things here that were done so that we could actually remove panels and swap out amplifiers really easily, so that when Tony and Juan are actually developing product, they can take it from even that probably circuit board level and wire it into the car to see exactly what it's doing. Testing on the bench is one thing, but we're an engineering company, and we want to have real world results, so we need a real world test bed, and that's what this car is. So Tony, choosing an electric vehicle again for not just a demo car but an engineering car, why did we feel that that was so important?
Well, I think that the emergence of the electric cars being out there and this idea that you can't really do much to them because of this limited electrical system just married perfectly with our invention of the current averaging. It's like, so we made this amplifier that draws 80% less current than a conventional amplifier. This is a perfect place to put it. Obviously it works in all vehicles, but it also works on all voltages, so that we can put it in the Cybertruck, we can put it in here, and we can put it in any legacy 12 volt car. So this was a good test of that technology.
Yep. And guys, that's really important because we see a lot of that, especially if you're, a retailer, an installer, and one of these cars comes in, you really have to know, what product will work, right? And know what the vehicle is doing. And that's one of the things with the Modus lineup and current averaging amplifiers is we're actually doing all of that engineering and research. So we know that the product works in all types of vehicles, and electric cars are just more, they're becoming more and more popular. So it's important for us to have that test bed, but still work in all vehicles. So we're going to get into the nuts and bolts of this thing, and we'll show you exactly what we did here. So here we are in the frunk of the car. Probably one of the most underutilized spaces in an electric vehicle. You've got this huge storage area here, and we've got 3 of the Modus MZA 8 channel amplifiers. So to kind of start with the signal, the car has 2 separate amplifiers, one in the front floorboard on the passenger side and one in the rear passenger trunk panel. And that's all high level, obviously coming off of the factory unit, and it's DSP processed and it's discrete. So every speaker has its own channel. So to integrate to that, we used a product that's actually from Tony as a high level converter. They're called HLC2s from Demore Engineering. And Tony's going to explain why they're so different. You know, tell us why those HLCs are so different than everything else on the market.
Yeah, we have the 2-channel HLC2. It's a DeMoore Engineering SMD product, and it's just high in and low out, but it's active and powered. It's actually a little amplifier, and it's just very clean and very blameless. Has its own power supply, and it's just very quiet. So we thought we could just use those for all the channels and not have to worry about that part of it.
Yeah, so might have added a little bit of complexity because they're just 2 channels, and this thing has 22 channels of output. So, you know, there's a lot of them in there, but you know, it was really important to keep that signal really clean and using the HLC. So each channel or pair of channels runs through that, and then it's then fed low level or RCA into the amplifiers. And like I said, these are all 8-channel amplifiers. So the channel configuration is pretty cool. We've got 2 of the 8-channel amplifiers. One's basically set up to run kind of the front stage. There's 7 channels there. So speaker configuration from Tesla, we didn't move anything, right? So there's 3 4-inch mids across the dash, tweeters in the A pillar. Those are been all replaced with our Modus Mezzo series speakers. And then it's got 2 8-inch woofers in the doors. And that required a little bit of fabrication. So, you know, Jaron Digos at Delta Concepts did all the fab, and just 3D printed these really cool adapter rings, if you will, to fit the Mezzo speakers a little bit bigger than the factory one. And then we kept all the immersive audio channels and the rear speakers. So the immersive audio still works.
Yeah.
So when you're driving it, you can still use that. It kind of has that surround effect. But they're all amplified, so you've got a lot more power in here. So the amps are 125 by 8 at 4 ohms. And then for the subwoofer enclosure, we've got one of the 8-channel amplifiers, and it's a really similar configuration than what we've done in the Cybertruck. Is we've bridged the amplifier, which gives us 400
by
watts.
4, yeah.
Yeah, 400 by 4. And we've got some Modus Mezzo 10s in a 3 cubic foot sealed box. And just to kind of follow the engineering part of the whole idea of this car, it's in an enclosure which got modular baffles. So we can change those out as we see fit, but they're bridged, and it's 1 channel for every voice coil. So it's still a lot of power back there. So all of the magic kind of happens up here. The guys at Delta Concepts took all of the audio signal from both amplifiers and brought it up to the front. All the HLCs are actually installed in this control box here, if you will. And when Tony and Juan are developing things, we can actually take these amplifiers off with these thumb screws, and we have extra panels that we can mount stuff to, and all the signal input and output is run through this control box through the HLCs. So, you know, when you're developing something at board level and we need to check it in the car,
Yeah.
it'd be really cool to just take it right to a car.
Just pop it out and pop the test piece in.
Yeah, everything's on an umbilical cord, all Deutsch connectors. Delta Concepts built some extra Deutsch connectors so you guys can pull them out on the bench. But everything is controlled here. And then talk to us about these gauges here. This is pretty cool. A little extra, but some information too that we can tell from what's going on in the audio system.
So we have a voltmeter and an ammeter that are measuring the voltage and amperage of this whole system, all 3 amplifiers together. This is a 16-volt car. We usually see like, 15.5 on here. But these, like you said, these are 1,600-watt amplifiers, so 4,800 watts total. We're probably only using 3,500 to 4,000 of that. But even on 15 volts, that's 300, 400 amps worth of current. And so we show here that the current averaging technology obviously is doing its job because we can only draw about 40 amps.
Yeah.
It's about as much as we can get it to do.
And 40 amps is pretty incredible considering that there are no extra batteries. We didn't put any power inverters. So it's running on the stock Tesla electrical system without any issue.
Yeah.
Right. So we know what the limit is. No relays, no batteries, and we can see that, and that's really important for development as we look at new product and new applications. this is again the perfect test bed, because at 16 volts and drawing that little current, we know that in any gas-powered car,
Yep.
right? And gas-powered cars now are so fuel efficient, so smaller batteries, smaller alternators. So we know that if we can deliver this kind of power here, we won't have any problem in a gas engine,
Yeah.
right?
On a legacy 12-volt car, you have 12 to 14 volts. It's very close to 16. You're going to see just a little more current, but still really like 20% of what a legacy amplifier would be drawing.
Yep. So this is just kind of one of the things that we do at Modus. I mean, we are an engineering company, so we really take a lot of time and effort into developing the product and actually testing it in the application, right? And I think that's one thing that's really important, because, you know, I mean, you guys spend so much time in the lab developing and coming up with these cool ideas, and, you know, having it be available to just put in a car, where a lot of people, when they're developing amps, it's like, it looks cool in the lab, but you really don't kind of see what happens in a car in the real world, right?
There's special things that happen in the car, like we saw in the Cybertruck, which is a 48-volt system that we weren't that familiar with, and we saw that we really had to make certain parts of the amplifier a lot more robust to handle some of the things that happen on a 48-volt bus.
Yep. So, you know, it's really kind of a true testament of what we do at Modus. It's, you know, car audio enthusiasts, guys that really care about what we're doing. And, you know, the application part is just as important as the engineering part. So, you know, any car, any boat, you know, anywhere that requires a lot of power and you just don't have a lot of current, which is pretty much any modern vehicle. I mean, these amplifiers are going to work great in.
Yeah, hybrids. Also.
Hybrids, yeah. So full lineup of amplifiers, 8 channels, 6 channel, 4 channel, and mono.
Yep.
Right, so marine and automotive applications, and they're really awesome. So, you know, if you need more information, be sure to check us out on modusglobal.com. You know, follow us on socials, and man, we're so glad that you guys spent a few minutes watching us and checking us out.